Welcome to July in the garden, and July is the month where you could completely level up your gardening or it could completely fall apart. Most of us don't know how close we are to losing half a season's work. If you're gardening in July in zones 3 through 5, you're right now in the messy middle part. Some plants are crushing it, and then some have just thrown in the towel. This video is going to break down what you need to do in July to keep your plants clinging onto life and even thriving. We're going to talk about smarter watering, pest control that actually works. We'll give you some feeding advice, what you can still plant halfway through the season, and how to survive the heat wave without losing your garden. It's about 30 degrees here today. I'm quite warm. So let's get into it. If June was the honeymoon phase, July is the reality check. Everything is growing fast, but it's also hot, it's buggy, it's dry. Your spinach bolts, your cucumbers are sulking, but your peppers look great, but there's no peppers on them. And here's why that happens. July brings intense sun, long days, and less consistent rain. Bugs are now in party mode, and your plants start using up all the nutrients you gave them weeks ago. If you don't adjust now, you miss your shot at a great summer harvest. Well, let's start with watering, because this simple step you could be doing wrong. So here's what you're going to want to do. Water deeply, not often. Get the water down to the roots, not just the top few inches. And water in the early morning if you can. Gives more time for the roots to drink it before the sun evaporates it. And use mulch, always. It keeps your soil cooler and also stops it from drying out so fast. And mulching doesn't have to be fancy. I've used grass clippings, I've used shredded leaves, but what I prefer to use is garden straw. $20 for a whole bag of this, and it covers my garden and more. And it looks pretty good. And if you're wondering how to check if your soil needs watering or not, it's quite simple. Just stick your finger in. If it feels wet, all's good. Pests are back and they are hungry. You might think that things are going well, and then you turn over a leaf and you see that bugs are swarming. There are a few common July pests, so we'll go through them. In July, you might find aphids, flea beetles, cabbage moths, or like me, July here in Winnipeg, I'm finding quite a few Colorado potato beetles, more than I'm used to anyway. The pest control that works for me is just checking the leaves. I check them daily, especially under them. I'll do this maybe with my morning coffee. And if I do find bugs, I kill them. And if I find eggs, I squish them. Don't feel bad about this. This is just you saving your harvest. Another great way to do a bit of pest control is by doing some companion planting. Basil near tomatoes. Not only do they taste good together, apparently the basil will fight off pests. I use a lot of marigolds in my companion planting because they've got a strong smell and it kind of distracts the pests. And I put nasturtium everywhere, so the pests go for the nasturtium and not my high value crops. And also, I love the way nasturtium looks. Do you think it's too late to plant stuff? No. Even in zone 3, you've still got time. And I really think this is where people miss out. You get to July and you think, well, my season's over now, but you've actually got a second shot here. There are still some crops you can plant right now, and I'm doing that as well. Things like radishes, lettuce, spinach, some bush beans, even carrots, beets, kale, and like me, some Swiss chard. In fact, where these peas are, I'm about to tear these out and put that Swiss chard in. Anything that grows in 60 to about 80 days, you may as well give it a go, because sometimes that first frost doesn't come. I mean, it does eventually, but it doesn't come as early as we think. All you've got to do to check if something will grow in that time is just look on the packet. Sometimes it's on the front, sometimes it's on the back. And if it's between 60 to 80 days, give it a go. By this point in the season, your plants have burned through the nutrients you gave them at the start of the season. Now is a perfect time to refuel them. I like to use a low nitrogen fertilizer, especially for my fruiting plants like tomatoes and peppers, because too much nitrogen makes a lot of leaves. You can also top dress with compost if you've got it. Just sprinkle it around some of your plants. If you're not sure what to look for, just look for something balanced that's like 10, 10, 10. Or just lower that nitrogen after the flowers form. Just look for one that has a lower first number. Something we may forget is that some plants actually need shade as well. Plants like tomatoes and peppers, they love the heat, they love the sun. Not so much for lettuce, cilantro, and spinach. So here's a couple of things I like to do. I like to just simply move containers into the shade if I can. Also, you can give these shade-loving plants a bit of shade from taller plants like corn or sunflowers, in fact. I even have them at the base of some of my pepper plants. And really, this is where a lot of people just check out of gardening. They think, well, I've planted everything, now I just wait. But July is really the turning point. Ignore it, and it goes bad fast. The soil dries faster, bugs get braver, and weeds, they're everywhere. So if you want to set yourself up for your August harvest, get going. Keep planting, keep watering smart. If something failed, pull it out and start again. You've got time. I mean, a couple years ago, I was just winging it. I watered when I could remember to, and I didn't do any second planting. I just hoped that everything would take off. The next year, I changed it up. I watered deeply. I started feeding my plants. I mulched everywhere like I do now. And I planted beans in July just because. And I actually got beans from them. I actually paid attention. And that summer, I had the best harvest ever. At that point, anyway. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't perfect, and still isn't perfect, but it worked. And it was way less stressful and fun. So let's recap this in plain English. Water smart, deep, early, and mulch. For pest control, check daily, squash early. You're gonna wanna plant again, it is not too late. You're also gonna wanna feed your plants, just a low nitrogen fertilizer is good there, and give shade where it's needed. And most importantly, keep going. And you don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to keep showing up.